Hey there, everyone. Good morning. I think this is live now. Happy Friday. It's Friday for me now. I mean, if you listen to the podcast later, it will be later, but I think this is working. Yeah, I just wanted to say hello, and I am trying a new thing today. I hope you bear with me. Well, it's not completely new. I've tried it before, and it hasn't exactly worked well in the past. This is live now. Okay, sorry for the audio feedback. I'm still experimenting with some things, and if you couldn't tell, this is a one-man show so far. With no one else on my creative team on my podcast team consistently. So I'm trying some things out. Anyway, here's the deal. You all know, or if you've been following me for a little bit, I do interviews with other authors sometimes, and I've been reaching out to some of you personally to schedule interview times, which is great, and I'm glad for that. But I'm trying a different approach too, and I'm glad to do a one-on-one interview where we go, deep dives into some things. But had an idea that I've seen done on other podcasts and such before, where I have multiple people on for one episode, and maybe ask everyone the same question, and just ask everyone like maybe a question pertaining to like writing or publishing or just maybe character development or some aspect of the writing process, and have kind of one topic or theme and have multiple people answer that. So I'm trying that today. I've tried it in the past, have multiple people jump in and out of the video, and had some issues with that on Facebook's live feature. I'm now using Zoom and having it live streamed to Facebook. So there's that. That seems to be working better for my other interviews and stuff. But basically, if you're watching this, or if you're seeing it even a few minutes later, and I'm still on, I want you to come in and join me here, and tell us about your book for about 5 minutes or even less if you want. I mean, just a quick synopsis, a quick elevator pitch, if you will. Tell us about your book. Tell us kind of where we can find it, what stage you're at, if it's published or if it's still something you're working on. Just basically it's a self-promote invitation. I figure for my first one, or hopefully maybe first of many if this works well, rather than a specific question. I guess the question is just introduce yourself, tell us about your book, tell us where we can find it, and basically anything you want about your book and your writing process. So I want to highlight some of you, give you a chance to speak up and share your stories. So come one, come all. There is a Zoom link in the event. If you're watching this, I assume you found the event or found the video or my page. There is a Zoom link. So if you see that Zoom link, click it. I'll add you to the call. Yeah, I'll bring you into the waiting room, and we'll have some of you come in. And I'm honestly still experimenting with this, so we'll see if anyone comes or not. If nobody does, then I will give you my elevator pitch while we're waiting. But if you're watching this, if you're out there, come in, click the Zoom link, and just have your 15 minutes of fame, or even probably less than 15 minutes. Yeah, just come in, tell us about your book, and I'd love to hear from you guys. Okay, so yeah, I'll give it some silence and some dead space while we're waiting for people, because I am just starting at 11:05 or whatever it is. Yeah, so okay, yeah, 11:05. Okay, meanwhile, I'm talking about my elevator pitch, okay? But if you're watching this, if anyone else is coming in, please know you can jump in. I want to hear from you. But if you're watching this, if anyone else is coming in, sorry, audio feedback again. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I want to hear from you. So jump in, give us your pitch, tell us about your book. Let's hear it, and let's cheer each other on as authors, because a lot of us are on this journey together. Okay, I'll start with mine. As you know, as a lot of you know, if you've been following me for any time, my book is called Fractured Heroes. Here's a cover of it. This is an old self-published edition, or really a print-on-demand edition I put out about 10 years ago, with one of my earlier drafts. I'm embarrassed by the content now, but the cover still looks cool. And just having a book that you wrote in your hand is kind of cool, even if it's not officially published yet. Elevator pitch, I have been calling mine a superhero story for broken people, or I like to say I tell stories about broken people finding hope and healing, and Fractured Heroes is about broken main characters, flawed human characters trying to find connection, unite, and protect their city together while also finding connection. So something like that. That's in 2 minutes or less. I have it more polished on Twitter where it's in writing. If you can tell, I'm a writer, not necessarily an improv speaker, but there you go. Yeah, and I think that's important. I think having your book in a pitch like that is important. And I mean, if you've been writing for any amount of time, or if you've even begun pursuing publishing, or even thought about it, you probably have heard of an elevator pitch. But there it is. Yeah, meaning if you were stuck with on an elevator with someone for 5 seconds or whatever. Now. Sorry. For 5 seconds or whatever, and or more than 5 seconds, but like 1 minute or however long it takes to get up an elevator, you could tell them the pitch of your book in that span of time. A quick, concise summary of your book. Not even a summary, more like a premise, more like a launching point. So and I tried to fit mine on Twitter into about 100, or I think it's like 240 now, but anyway, if you're on Twitter, it's not very much. So that's what I have. It's a book about broken people finding hope and healing. Yes, it is a superhero story. I think it's more than that too. So I've defined it as a superhero story for broken people. That's pretty quick. I've also defined it as I tell stories for broken people finding hope and tell stories about broken people finding hope and healing. And Fractured Heroes is about flawed, broken heroes trying to do just that while they're also trying to protect their city and be superheroes. So there you go. Hence the name, Fractured Heroes. I do think it's important in your elevator pitch, if you when you make one, to highlight the why you're writing a little bit. I've talked about this a little bit before. So it can depend on what you're writing. But in this case, in my case, it's a it's a superhero story, but I wanted to be more than just action and fighting and stuff. I wanted to be about the main characters and their growth and development and their healing. I call it a superhero drama in some ways, which I mean, maybe 10 years ago was maybe was a little bit unheard of, but now the way the superhero genre is expanding in so many different directions, and we have so many different layers of character types and character development within that, I think there's room for it in our canon of superhero literature, if that's a thing. So a superhero drama. And I actually mentioned this last week in my talk about podcasting, or sorry, in my talk about marketing. There is I read a book called Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Okay, it's Sinek is his name, Simon Sinek. Start with Why. He's written about some leadership and business books. He's well known in those circles, and he has some of that too. This is one of his that I've read, and it was about kind of how marketers or entrepreneurs or even bigger companies at times they will do something like they kind of have a purpose behind their marketing. And so he gives the example of Apple, who, yes, they make computers, they make technology, but their whole thing is being innovative on the cutting edge of technology. They're not just trying to scooter. I mean, he kind of asks the question of like, why did Apple become such a big brand above even like Dell or HP or someone else, which are not small brands, but like for some people, like some Apple users, like that's like an identity, like that's a brand identity kind of thing, which is a thing that they talk about in marketing. And he says it's because Apple not only gives you a product, they give you this almost philosophy or identity of what you want to become. He gave the example of Harley Davidson, also like motorcyclists. That's a way of, that's not just a brand. For some people it's a way of life. Some people have the Harley Davidson logo tattooed on their arm. It's like, how as a brand or as a marketer do you get to the point where you were having people tattoo your logo on their arm? I'm not there yet. Not sure if I'm going to be. Not sure if that's the only metric of success, but the point is, make your brand, or I guess he suggests making your brand or making a product into something that will be not just a brand or a product, but a purpose, a why, if you will, and and identity that people can aspire to. Aspirational identity is a term you might hear in marketing circles sometimes. You're helping people achieve an identity that they want to be part of themselves. So I took that advice, and I mean, I'm not a marketing expert. I've learned more than I had before in the past couple of years. I think I have maybe a sophomoric understanding of marketing now. I'm learning. I know more than the guy off the street, but not as much. Still not nearly as much as the experts. But yeah, I tried to apply it to my own wedding. So before I describe what my story is, before I just say, oh, it's about superheroes coming together as a team, that's great. My why, or my purpose, if you will, is I tell stories about broken people finding hope and healing. So I stuck that to the beginning of my little blurb and put it on there. And that's kind of when someone asks me on Twitter about how I do it, that's when I say, oh, I have a visitor. Okay, hold on. Great. We have someone here. So here we go. Hi there, Erica. Hey, welcome.
Hi.
What's going on? Tell me, I can hear you. You're on mute. Okay. She joined and then left. Okay. Still dealing with technology issues. So still a work in progress, still an experiment, I admit. Yeah. But hey, somebody joined. And Erica, if you're still watching, feel free to come back. And yeah, we'll try this again. So thank you for joining. We'll try this again. Sorry it didn't work the first time. But yeah, join again and we'll have you tell us about your book for about 5 minutes or so. Anyway, mine, like I was saying, start with the why, start with the purpose, start with the aspirational identity of what someone wants to become, of what you want your what maybe your reader would want to become, or what they would want to be known for in their life. So yes, superhero story about heroes coming together, great. We've all seen the Avengers. I mean, good movie, but it's 10 years old now, and it's like, well, and we have other movies like it or other shows like it. So that's so kind of, because someone could ask, well, why is yours better than anyone else's? Why do this one instead? You know, what's special about your book, or what you're selling or your product? That's why I put beforehand my why, my purpose. I tell stories about broken people finding hope and healing, then go into, oh, it's a superhero book about, you know, broken, flawed human characters trying to be a bad guy, but also they find hope and healing and they join a team along the way. That's kind of it. I know obviously the Avengers is out, other stories of things like this. It's not super original to me, but if you frame it as a conversation like that with the why up front, your purpose up front, doesn't help you. There's more in the book. Again, Start with Why by Simon Sinek. I'm just kind of giving a very rough summary of his points. I read it probably 2 years ago, so I don't remember everything in it, but there it is. So yeah, that's my elevator pitch. I tell stories about broken people finding hope and healing in the superhero setting. If you say it enough times, you can, I mean, not just mine, but yours. I mean, you can almost get to the point where you're, I guess, repeating it and it becomes natural to understand those words. So yeah, there it is. I'm still holding this open for anyone who wants to come join, for anyone who wants to sign on for about 5 minutes or less, even just a couple minutes. Give us your elevator pitch, tell us about your book, tell us where you are in your process, and tell us anything else you want to about what you've learned from this process, or just your wedding goals, that kind of thing. And we'll all give you a follow and know about your book too. Come on and join. Okay. So that's all I have, I guess, from my side. I will maybe leave it open if anyone else wants to join. I'm gonna give you a few seconds of what might be dead space here. Tell you what, I'll leave this open, and if you're if you're watching the podcast later, and basically, if you're the one, someone who catches it, the replay afterward, I'll try to edit out this dead space so you're not just sitting there listening. But I'm not talking for right now. I'll leave it open a little bit if anyone wants to come in. But yeah, but hopefully what I've shared about marketing and about your elevator pitch has been helpful to you already. And maybe we'll have even someone else come in the next 10 or 15 minutes. Okay.